this is a video on how to set up the mobile sound system. So we've got, as you can see, five cases or bags, and what we're going to do is set up the loudspeakers, set up the amplifier, set up the microphone, and then we have another video which sets up the recording system. So first things first, we pick up this black box. This has got the graphic equalizer in it, but that, as far as we're concerned, it's a black box which you just use, and on the back it's got a panel which comes off. So you just rotate these 90 degrees and it comes off, and we just put that to one side. Then what I tend to do is lift it up and then gently remove the cables. You have to be really careful, else you might pull some of them out. We've got one which says amplifier, one which says radio microphone, and then another one which says recorder. And then we have a power lead and the mains plug. So once we've got those cables out, we put this back on the table, and this will be the front, and the writing needs to be the correct way up. Well, it doesn't need to be, but it keep me happy. So what we need to set up next is the radio microphone, which you'll find in the green bag. And the radio microphone consists of several parts. The receiver, which is in the white bag, and when you pack up it needs to go back in there, please. And the aerials. Now these aerials do tend to get a bit loose, so when you set it up, just gently turn them clockwise, and then you'll find that they stay upright, which is nice. And this is the top, so place that there, somewhere around there, so it's safe. Okay, and then we need a power supply, and this is the power supply. Again, we can undo that and then take the elastic band off and then release the cable, and when we come to pack up, again we use the elastic band to keep everything tidy and prevent it from getting damaged. So on the back of the radio mic, we just pop that in there, and then the next one is the radio mic cable. So we just plug that XLR.
That's got radio mic written on it, yeah?
It's got radio mic written on it. Plug it into this XLR socket. Now it has a little catch on it, so when you push it in, it will click and it won't come out. So to undo it, you have to press the catch and pull it out. So we just listen for the click. There we go. Fantastic. Now, next thing which would be nice to do, get some electricity. So these cables are in the green bag, and just take these cables out and keep them in a neat pile so that people aren't likely to trip over them. And got a nice four-way here. These cable ties are reusable, so to undo them, you just press those two together and then free it up. You have to adjust it a little bit, you'll get the hang of it, and then put that safely somewhere for the time being. Now we want to find some electricity, so we'll just connect this to the mains, and yes, we've got a light, so we've got electricity. Just plug the and put this neatly under the table. You can just plug this in as any other electrical thing. And then the other thing we can do is plug in the black box. So gently untwist the cables, take your time, and then plug it in. Okay, and you should hear it click a bit. Now if it didn't hear a click, then you just have to make sure that the cable here is pushed in properly. Yeah. Now, next thing we want to look at is the amplifier. So, the amplifier is in this black box, and this is the amplifier. On the front, it's got a switch and a volume control. So, this is quite gentle. You don't have to force it, but to shut it, you turn it totally anti-clockwise till it won't go any further, but you don't have to force it because you just break the button, break the knob. And on the back, it's got sockets for the electricity, the cable which goes to the loudspeakers, and the input cable, which is an XLR. So place that neatly on here, and then we'll connect the cables at the back. So we've got the mains cable, and then we've got the amplifier input cable. Again, this will click in, you'll hear it, and to free it you just press that push button there, and that frees it, and then it's clicked in. Okay, so that's the radio mic receiver and the amplifier setup. We have a battery charger. There's 4 batteries in it. So, and then the mains cable is figure of 8 cable. Again, keep the cable tie nice and safe in the box. So the figure of 8 cable goes into the battery charger, and then we can put this maybe neatly on the table and plug in the mains. So the batteries are nicely charging. They're on red at the moment, so they need charging. I think they go green when they're charged. Now we can look at the loudspeakers. So the loudspeakers come in 3 parts: the stands, the speaker, and the cables. So the stand has got 2 adjustment knobs on it. These should be, when you're finished with it, these should be tight, reasonably tight. So when you come to set up, you unscrew them slightly, and then you gently spread the legs and have these at a reasonable distance so that these bits are reasonably horizontal, and that's got the widest spread, which means it's the most stable, but it also means it's sticking out more. So sometimes it's nice to just find a little compromise. But that's too much of a compromise, it's not safe. So, and then to make it higher, we can undo this one, and then pull this little lever out here, and then it raises up, and then it will click into one of these holes. So probably if you have this about the average person's head height, just below, yeah, about there, that would be good. Now to fit the speakers onto the stand, we use these, and these are called top hats, and they just screw into the bracket which is on the loudspeaker, and just make sure it's reasonably tight, and then that will fit on the stand. So probably that speaker is probably a little bit high, so we'll just drop down one hole, and we'll see how we go with that. So we'll just set the other one up. Now normally you'd set these up according to how you want to set the room up. But since this is really a demonstration on how to set the system up, we're not going to worry about that. That's not really in the topic of this video. So we'll just make sure this is the same height as the other one. That's about right.
Right.
And then put the top hat on again. If you have trouble screwing it on, just put the speaker upside down on the floor or something. So that's the speaker setup. So now we need to connect the amplifier with a cable from the amplifier to the first speaker and then to the second speaker. So how we do this is we get a cable that's either a 10 metre or a 20 metre cable, and we assess how much we need, and then we can have the spare cable at the end where the desk is, and that should keep everything neat. So how these work, these also click in. So there's a little keys, there's two keys on here. I don't know if you can see them. There's one which is slightly bigger than the other one. Like this is a wider one, and that's a narrower one. And on the socket there's a wider hole and a narrower hole. So we just need to align those holes up and just gently push it in. It's hardly a push, it'll just drop in. And with this cable you just twist it and it's clicked. To release it, you pull this lever back and out it comes. Fortunately, there's several types of that connector, so they all operate slightly differently. Right, so with the cable, this is really important that you make sure this is safe. So we don't want the loudspeaker being able to fall over. So I'll just give you an example of what's not. The problem with doing this, it's quick, but all you need is for someone to come along, trip over the cable, and you can see very easily it's very unstable, and if that was to hit my head, it should hurt me, but you know, maybe it wouldn't. So how do we resolve that issue? Well, we make sure that the cable comes through the bottom of the stand and gently twists up through the stand, and then we pull it in. And the advantage of this is, like now, when I pull the cable, it's pulling the bottom of the stand, so it doesn't fall over. All that happens is someone goes, whoops.